Hello, my name is Ryan. What I'm going to do today is show you guys how to rebuild the Jalouse windows on your 68 to 79 bus. Some things that I use: squirt bottle with some dish soap and some water, works great, and a clamp for 1.5" conduit made out of PVC. They're like $1 for 2 at Home Depot. Materials that I'm using today is U-shaped extruded vinyl window glazing. That's what you're going to ask for when you call down to the glass shop. Typically it comes U-shaped. What I've done is I've cut it lengthwise, and I'm only using half. Reason why I'm only doing that is I purchased the material that I thought would work, that fits the glass, but because there's not enough distance between the frame and the glass, you end up with too tight of a seal and it's hard to get it to look nice. What I did was cut it lengthwise and only used half the seal on the outside. Okay, here we have a piece of the profile that we're going to be using, our vinyl window glazing. You can see that it's got a middle section and then 2 sides. Now originally you put the glass in the middle and squeeze the glass down into the window frame and it would seal on both sides of the glass. But because we don't have enough room, like we discussed earlier, what we're going to do is cut this down lengthwise and make sure that we only use half in order to seal the outside of the glass to the window frame. So it's pretty basic. What you do, you can see I've started a cut here. Once you get it cut right down in the corner, right where the side comes into the middle section, you can just grab this and just start pulling on it, and that's going to naturally start to just rip right open. And you can do this the whole length of the roll that you purchase. So now we've got half, which is what we would use on the outside, and then we're left with this other section that still has a portion that we can't use. So we're going to need to trim that out also. Same thing, just start in the corner, get a nice cut going. Once you feel you got down far enough, just go ahead and just start pulling it apart. Okay, so here's what you're going to be left with. You're going to be left with one side, a middle portion, and the other side. The middle portion's trash, and this is what you'll be utilizing to make up the gasket between the glass and the window frame. Okay, so what we have here is we have our glass, our vinyl window glazing, and the lower portion of our Jalouse window. The lower portion of the frame has a hole drilled in it. That's for the screw to come up and support the side of the frame to grab the glass. You want to make sure that the corner of the glass is just inside that hole. This way everything else lines up as you start to assemble your window. First thing you want to do is get a little soapy water on there, get the seal soapy. Start putting your vinyl piping or your vinyl glazing and your glass together. Plenty of soap. Just start working that vinyl into that crack. By hand the best you can. Now, you don't have to worry about it too much because you're going to come back and you're going to make it look good with that piece of conduit clamp, that piece of plastic. So get it in there the best you can. Now once you're kind of satisfied with getting in there as far as you can by hand, you can see that the gasket looks okay, but it's still pretty wavy. You know, and the whole point of restoring something is to make it look new or better than new. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back, we're going to squeeze this frame the best that we can by hand and really get that glass to set inside the window frame. You can kind of see the frame really taking shape here. Okay, and this is what you're left with before you add the final touches. Now it looks pretty good now, but it's going to look a lot better here in a few minutes. Now, just to protect the rubber, the vinyl, get some nice soapy water all over it. Kind of help it go in. This is where we're going to take our clamp. We're going to start working this gasket down inside this track. Now the great thing about this clamp, it was something that was laying around that I made work. They're really cheap and it's not hard on the materials at all. It's actually really nice. And all you want to do is just work that gasket down inside that. And it really starts to take shape. Now you can run your finger, since everything's nice and slick, run your finger on there and you feel any high spots in the gasket. Now's the time you want to take care of them. I got a little high spot right here in the corner, so I'm going to see if I can't figure out how to get that to work its way in there. Now you're going to have to take some time and really put some effort into this if you want it to look right. But if you do, well, they just turn out fantastic. And give you an idea of what we're working with. Here is the glass, the vinyl window glazing, and the frame assembled. And you can see nice, tight, very nice looking. One thing I want to show you is how to dress up your corners here. Nice sharp razor blade. Go ahead and cut it off straight right at the edge. Now right here in the corner, when you put your side piece on, what you're going to want to do is cut this gasket at a 45. And then you'll do exactly the same on the other gasket. So this way you got a nice tight seal when all of this comes together. Alright, so what we got here is we've got our lower frame assembled to the glass with our gasket installed, cut at a 45 right here in the corner. The corner of our glass is just inside the hole where our mounting screw is going to come up and support the side of the frame. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to take our piece of window glazing that we got, we're going to do a nice straight cut. And when you're cutting this to kind of get you started, you're not really worrying about the cut. So you want to come back, cut it nice and straight, and then right at the inside here, you're going to cut at a 45. This way, when you go to install this gasket, everything's going to come up nice and tight. Now, same thing as before, you just want to get a little soap on the glass, on the seal. Now your frame, the side of your frame, you're going to want to make sure that you keep the top with the top of the front of the glass. And it's real easy. You just, same thing as before, you just want to make sure to get that gasket right in the corner. Work it in before you push the frame in. And that is about it. We're going to come up the bottom of the frame and install our screw. Come back with our conduit clamp. Just work it in. don't get too picky right now because you don't have a lot supporting this top, so you don't want to push it out. You just want to kind of get it down in there the best you can so you can come back. Notice I'm supporting the edge of the frame rail with my finger. This way when you want to come back and do some final touches on the gasket, you can. But there's a close-up shot of attaching the side. You can see there how nice our gasket's looking. Just nice and tight and straight. We got a little high spot right here, but since we don't have a whole lot supporting the side of the frame rail, we'll come back out later after everything's assembled and go ahead and get that gasket nice and tight. Now, one little trim tip for the top. This is the top of the frame rail comes down kind of low. So you actually want to cut it. There's a notch right here. Aim for that notch, cut it straight across. You want to cut it kind of low because the top of the frame rail is going to come down into the frame. And then I cut it on the back side. And it's good. It's golden. Alright, and there you go. Now you can go ahead and finish assembling the top, do the other side. We'll be ready to install the assembled Jalouse windows. Here's our completed set of rebuilt Jalouse windows. I hope everybody enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, you can email me at the link provided. Thank you very much.